we got a banger for y'all today. We have a special guest with us today. He's well known in the Power Ranger community. He's all over Instagram. He's almost at every convention. He's a very kind and wonderful individual, fellow Ranger fan, Grimm the Dragon Tamer. Yes, I see you heard me right, Grimm the Dragon Tamer. So we're going to film what he thought of the 30th anniversary special, kind of give an insight of how and when he became a Ranger fan, and kind of get like the interview process going on, and not, you know, just go as we just go with the flow. And Dragonade, let me tell you, Dragonade is where it's at. I'm gonna tell you so many flavors in that one drink alone. Put it in your vitamin water, put it in your Topo Chico, put it in your purified water, whatever you want to do. Mix it up, create your own flavors, and you input our promo code Zeonizer3, Zeoniser. Zer. Pardon me. Zeonizer. I can't talk today. So, 3. Okay. There'll be a promo code, 10% off. That takes care of the taxes for you. And here's the thing. Before you input our promo code, we want to make sure you enjoy your flavor. They have a free sample pack. All you would have to pay is the shipping. That's it. Try it. Find which one you like. Find it on there. Get a tub. Enter our promo code. And you know what? Right there, man. You enjoy your generous energy. Just 100% focus and alert. You ain't got to worry about the crashes. And here's the thing. Recently, we just got maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, we got a top 10 of Reaper Apparel for not for sponsoring them. So we got top 10 content creators for pushing this brand, and that's awesome. And we're a small time podcast community. We're not as big as everyone else, and for us to be top 10, that is awesome. But we're aiming to be 1, 2, 3, anything higher than our 10th spot. So please, guys, support these guys. You support us directly, and in turn, you support this wonderful creator of this brand. These hats are sick. These shirts are dope. And trust me, the hoodies are comfortable. You would not believe how comfortable they are. But check them out. Like David said, Zeonizer3, promo code 10% off, and it will send to you straight to your doorstep. And without further ado, we thank you guys for the sponsors. We thank our sponsors for backing us and being there for us. We're going to get on with today's episode, and we're going to bring in our special guest. We're going to talk about the 30th anniversary. We're going to weigh some pros and some cons, and we're going to get into how Grimm found his way into the Power Ranger universe. So it's going to be a real deep and detailed episode, and we are super excited. We're excited about this all week. And I'm right now getting everything started for him. And he is right now in our server. So we're about to bring him on in. Oh, there's my man. Are you there? You there, David? Okay. You good?
Very nice. So you
So,
guys are all having an amazing day.
oh, we are, man. We've been actually the Zeonizer Podcast crew. We've been looking forward to this all week. So, yep. Both me and David follow you on Instagram. So, to be able for you to be on the show with us is a privilege. It's wonderful all around.
Awesome, man. I'm so glad to hear it. I've been talking about you guys for the past couple days now about how only thing I got really planned for this weekend is maybe doing a live on Instagram showing some of the stuff I got for this weekend and your guys' podcast.
And we appreciate that. We really do. But even though we are a small time podcast team, we do try our very best to bring out content that people love to listen to. We stream, we do everything we can, whether it's Power Rangers, Marvel, DC, comics, gaming, we do it all. So I honestly hope the Las Vegas convention was a blast. Um, I've been to Vegas a
Absolutely.
few times. I've been to Vegas a few times. I've just never been to an anime convention, and I've always wanted to go to one in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, it's a super fun experience. If you guys have a chance to come down here, very soon, it'll be awesome. You guys will love it.
Well, like I say, me, David, and our third Padre who couldn't join us today, Jerry, we call him J3D. Uh, we all three will be going to PMC next year. So this will be our first convention, our first time meeting one another. We've known each other for almost 4 years now. We have not got the chance to meet each other. So this will be our first time meeting one.
Well, you guys got to celebrate my birthday with me because day one of PMC is my birthday.
I oh yeah,
Yes, sir.
no joke, my man,
We'll
no
go out
joke.
and we'll have a meetup, cool dinner and stuff. And yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
So I mean, you still there, David? Okay, so we're going to get into it. Um, First off, I was kind of nervous today. I didn't know what kind of questions to ask. It's more excitement than, more anxiety and excitement than anything. So my question is the 30th anniversary, something we've all been waiting for, waiting for. In your personal opinion, seeing how it did so well, it's right now number 9 of top 10 Netflix shows right now. Um,
Yeah,
and it did so well. Could you personally see them doing the same thing if another anniversary happens with Power Rangers?
I think it's gotten to that nostalgic point and also such a meaningful point for Power Rangers and MMPR in general, but not just that. The Power Ranger franchise as a whole, it's so strong now that I think that no matter what they do in terms of anniversary specials or if they do a continuation from Once and Always, I feel like we're more accepting to them trying new ideas and bringing back Rangers we love. So I think we actually do better this first time.
I mean, that's awesome. The three of us, we watched it together. We did have problems. David had problems with the OBS, so instead of us getting our live reactions, we had to turn our cams off and watch it and get our own unique um, reaction. Um,
Yeah.
but we did like it, but we did have some cons with it, but it's understandable, it's acceptable, and nothing can be perfect.
Yeah.
Um, but we believe that it has the potential to be something greater than what it is now.
Yeah.
So, uh, don't know if y'all know. I told David 420, April 20th. I believe Zeo had its 27th and 28th anniversary. Um, and our podcast, Zeonizer Podcast, is where we got the name from Zeo because all three of us was one of our favorite seasons of Pirates Zeo.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Stronger than before. So
Yes, sir.
do you think, since we have Cosmic Force coming up, do you think we could possibly see a reignition of Zeo possibly?
I think we already started to a little bit, with the Robo Rita and, kind of hinting at the Machine Empire still being there. We obviously know about the Zeo crystals and, just
Mhm.
the Zeo in general, having such a strong team like JDF. You got Nakia Burst in there, Johnny Young Bosch, who I saw today, Anime Las Vegas. Um, and Steve Cardenas, you got Catherine Sutherland. So, like, an amazing team. And then also, uh, Jason, you got Austin St. John, and then you also have, the Old Ranger character as well, which is one of my favorite characters of all time. I really do believe that if they were to go in like kind of a chronological order again with these anniversaries, maybe just all the way up until the end of the Zordon era, and then that's when we get Zordon back. I feel like
Yeah.
that would be a cool way to go about things. So I really hope they do bring back even things like the Thunder Zord power, the Machete powers, and even things like the Zeo powers as well. I think that would be awesome.
Well, that'd be great. And actually, me, David, and Jerry, we were talking about this the other day because we were wondering how did Lord Zed return to cosmic. When we watched the anniversary and I talked about the Z-wave particles and how Billy, which by the way, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, if you've not seen this, spoilers do lie ahead. Um, Billy, Billy thought he found Zordon,
Yep.
and don't get me wrong, we were all excited. I'm not gonna lie. And instead, we got Robo Rita, and that makes a lot of sense because during the Z wave, during when Andros broke the cryotube of Zordon, everyone got
Yep.
purified, much less. And we were always wondering what happened to their evil energy, and that did kind of explain a lot. So I'm thinking now maybe that's how Lord Zed happened. His evil energy inhabited and possessed an innocent civilian.
And I mean, you do see it in if you go back and you watch like Power Rangers in Space when we saw Rita and Zed turn into humans. I think that's just kind of like one of those life moral lessons. Even the most evilest of beings have just like a tiny sliver of good in them. Like and then even learning from things like the green candles. Some people can be possessed with evil, and then they can turn a new light, and then all of a sudden you're the White Ranger, and then face the franchise. So I
Yes.
think it's very much so that you have a lot of these nuances, where villains come back and you're like, well, how did they get there? And we see now that they can inhabit bodies, they can go across time, space, even through the grid itself being this kind of transcendental map that the Rangers can almost talk, see the future move through. Hints whether or not they're doing the right thing or not, and seeing their loved one, kind of how we saw another spoiler, but Clooney's daughter, kind of see her through when her mother got hit, protecting her heart. You know what I mean? And you hear Alpha and talk about proxy coins and missing and tampering the grid and what it could do to somebody. Also, how they save at the same time. So who's to know how many villains there are? What happened? Are just a
All right.
good guy now, and just got that life of evil, and him and all the other villains that we're used to seeing are just they don't care about being a villain anymore.
Yeah.
I do believe that if they're truly evil like Rita or something, they're gonna find a way to come back. And who knows what kind of war is going on inside the grid, and if they are in that same particular place, that just means Zordon and Rita were fighting, and Rita just got the best of him in that instance, and which gave Billy hope. Maybe Zordon still is up.
It's awesome.
Even with the worst of the worst enemy coming back, it's like that gave us hope. Big Z is out there.
We constantly hope that he's still alive and he's out there kind of like being the grids and the Power Rangers secret guardian angel. But David, is there anything you wanna ask him?
Oh, I got a couple questions for our buddy Grimm, man. So, one of the questions that, and I picked up on it, and after I pointed out to Jeremy, he picked up on it. But, and this is just my thing, right? So, in Once and Always, we seen all the Rangers that Rita and, Snizzard and all of them captured, right? We seen a quick glimpse of Zeo Ranger 4 Yellow with the Zeo
Yeah,
powers. So how is it, other than nostalgia, and you just the honest answer, right? Honest opinion. Why is it that Cat and Rocky, who still had full access to the Zeo powers, other than nostalgia, had to morph into the Mighty Morphin?
because I feel like what Rita, if you rewatch that scene, every key instance, they're time warping, so they're not really fighting the current active Rangers. They're jumping back in time to go fight the Rangers before they're ever granted those powers, or when they have those powers and picking them up while they're weak, or maybe they chose that right moment when Rocky hurt his back to go back and you know who knows. So all I know is that with the time thing that they're doing, the time warping thing that Rita's doing, who knows what time dimension these Rangers are from? Did she capture rookie Nakia when she first became a Zeo Ranger, or did she capture veteran Nakia before, it turned off into turbo. Like
Right.
who knows when he captured. But all I know is that with Rita having, access to, time warping, she's able to even go back to even before when the MMPR Rangers were recruited. That was her original plan. So, I feel like she's more strategical and more cunning than we've ever known Rita to be.
Hmm.
To the point where she is willing to kill on sight, and to where she's able to, do things. Like, she's always had the power to do these things. She's just never done them. I think the evilest thing that we've seen her do is possess people or make evil ranger teams, etc. But it was never, I'm going to jump back in time and kill you in your sleep, like she said in the episode. So, who knows when she's popping up on these rangers. She can pop up literally on any of them in their most vulnerable time, and that's how she's getting these rangers.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good
I mean,
point.
I agree. I agree. But I wanted to be like, all right. Hopefully, I didn't. I wasn't the only one that thought about it. And as far as
I
like
I really thought
Reed,
about it like this. Sorry, I
mhm.
really thought about it like
No, you're good.
this. I thought about it like, the Rangers that you don't see that are captured. They got the message, meaning that either Zordon or Alpha or Billy or the Space Patrol, I mean, Johnny and, that they with Adam, they basically told the Rangers, whether it be Time Force or Space Patrol Delta or whoever Ranger team has the power to go to and from, that they made it very clear: don't morph. Don't morph. They can track you. They can find you. And the ones who, didn't get that message early on ended up getting captured. And you see the moments
Yeah.
that she's willing to go back in time or go to the future or to take advantage of these moments, like during Trini's funeral. You know, she knows the Rangers more than ever now. Having had been in the grid itself, she knows every Ranger team, where they're located, who their Zordon is, who their Alpha is, and she, clear as day, knows how to navigate through something that the Rangers, like Billy himself, have no clue how it works.
Yeah, I
Well,
respect it.
yeah. You made a good point that she studied over 30 years while she was floating. Her energy was floating in space, floating all around us. She had 30 years to study the Power Rangers, the mentors, the assistants, like a chess, like she's playing chess. And
Yeah,
like I'm gonna jump from one thing to another, but I think my favorite Easter egg out of all of them, and Jerry and David will tell you, was we got a Sentai callback of the Pandora Palace. Um,
yep,
now, we did a tier list. Me and David both did a tier list about a couple weeks ago. We ranked
Hmm.
the best Sentais. And me and David are super fans of the Sentai as well as the Power Rangers. We respect both sides,
Okay.
and when we both saw that the Pandora Protocol, and we saw Reef Side, we saw Astro Megaship, we saw Turtle Code, we flipped. Like the
yep.
fact that this event was transpired, and this event was linked to all Terra Venture, all of these Power Rangers seasons that we've watched from Saban, Disney, Nickel, everything. And the fact that they were connected made us feel like this is like the greatest thing ever.
Well, that's the fascinating thing to me about this is that, we're only getting so much of what's left over of the Japanese footage and, teams that, we acquired during 1993 and on. But with going back and seeing things like the Bandora Palace and, the Bandora Protocol and how the Rangers already knew this, and I feel like that's maybe how she got so smart, was going so far into the future and going so far in the past that, she sees the Sentai teams, she sees King Kanger, she sees Time Ranger, Go Kiger, Jetman, Go Longer, Jew Ranger, Die Ranger, Kaku Ranger. Like, there's so many different Rangers, Mega Ranger, Geki Ranger.
Oh,
There's so many different Sentai
oh
teams.
yeah.
So when you actually jump into the English reiterations of it, it's like how many Ranger teams exist after the ones that we know, not just before, but we're
No,
talking
exactly.
about Ranger teams that exist thousands and thousands and thousands of years after MMPR takes place. And it's like, how many, if you want to take it into, you know, there's a new Ranger team every year consecutively. Think about how many Ranger
Mhm.
teams that is. Think about how many Rangers that is.
That's a lot. I
It's
mean,
a lot
I
of Ranger
told
teams.
I brought this up to J3D, and I brought this up to David, and kind of blew their minds. Um, we're seeing a multiverse in the Power Ranger universe now.
Yeah.
Whatever, and that's incredible. And I still to this day can't wait for the Power Rangers cinematic universe. We have the DCEU, we have the MCU. So long I've been waiting for the Power Rangers community to be just like those two behemoths, get that opportunity, a chance. And I do. I've had my negative my negative shares with Hasbro, my positive shares with Hasbro. Okay,
Yep.
Yeah.
I am more excited for multiverse, the Power Rangers cinematic universe, to see new shows, new movies, hopefully an animated series one day. I am excited about the future of Power Rangers. I'm not gonna lie.
That's kind of why I kind of got into fan films. I still watch the Netflix seasons, but I'll more binge watch it, the entire season in the course of 2 days, versus how, we were used to growing up every Sunday, on your Sunday morning cartoons and your superheroes, you're going to watch the new episode. It's a little different now. So when I start to see, fan films and like things like Bloodline and Shattered Past, when I start to see even myself working on Path of the Lost Tyrant, creating my own character, John Oliver Scott, and how I can make it make sense to the actual canon of Power
Hmm.
Rangers. It makes me understand that like we're already living in this cinematic world, but it's more in the independent field. Because with the multiverse, it's like, okay, I've met thousands of sons of Tommy Oliver, but it's not like when you meet them, it's like, no, they truly believe that their character is the son of Tommy Oliver. Like for me,
Hmm.
my parents are Jason, MMPR Red, and Trini, MMPR Yellow, from a different Earth, and my godfather's Tommy. You know what I mean?
Wow.
My godfather isn't Tommy from my Earth; it's the Tommy that just passed away last year. So there's a
Yeah.
way you can tie it in, and the way that I tied that in is, I was lost and I was looking for help, Path of the Lost Tyrant thing, and when Tommy passed away, Tommy in my universe understood that the Tommy from the main canon had passed away. So what that did was start a rogue dragon in my universe and killed off the MMPR team. In my world, there is only one Power Ranger team. There isn't thousands. Just the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger team, and that's it. So I understand through the grid that there are multiple teams out there throughout the multiverse and stuff like that. So Tommy reaches out to me through the grid and basically tells me, your father and mother are alive in different worlds. The world that I'm in, your father's alive, your mom is dead, and I'm dead too. I just exist through the grid. So there's ways to
Wow.
make it make sense, and there's ways to make it make sense for you. Not everyone's going to get that, but in terms of a cinematic world, I get what you're saying by that. Like big movies, budget production, not really so cheesy. Maybe doing like callbacks to the TV show and comic books, kind of how Marvel does. But I don't
Yep.
think that Power Rangers is necessarily ready for that yet. We're kind of going backwards. We're going backwards in a sense. We're doing comic books. We're doing, custom toys. We're doing things in reverse order than what superheroes did. And Power Rangers are superheroes, but they were more live action than even, things that gave us Power Rangers, like, Japanese Spider-Man or, Ultraman, all this stuff. Like they really captured the physicality of putting on spandex, putting on the suit, running episodes constantly to where if you were to put these guys on a big budget screen like 2018 movie,
Yep.
it almost has to be near, I'm not going to say perfect, it has to be, you can't cut corners. There can be nothing left out. It would have to be a 16-hour movie of just the most detailed, how does this make sense? Because in Power Rangers, that's almost the beauty, is that nothing makes sense. You got words like more phenomenal and, what does morphin even mean? What is thunder sword? What are all these things that we're just making up on the spot? You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yep.
that's kind of the beauty of Power Rangers, is where, kind of cheesy, but
Oh
in
yeah.
like this anniversary episode showed us, we be just as dark, just as graphic as Marvel, as all these other things, but there's a root to this. There is things that is naturally appealing of, five teenagers or a group of people in different colored spandex calling to the powers of something. It could be a car, an animal, fire, like an element, and it doesn't necessarily have to make sense. But how does all this relate to having to be in a suit, protecting the world, and
But
why don't
it's
all the
like
Rangers, you know,
it's like so okay. It's like it can be so random, but it grabs your attention. You can't look away. That's how I got caught on. I got caught on because of my mother, because I got tired of watching the same lame ass cartoons, and she knew I was getting tired of it because I wouldn't even watch the TV. I would have been looking off and not attention, and she stumbled upon it and said, "Hey, Bubba, come watch this." And the very second I saw five teenagers in the morphing screen hauling out their dinosaur and flipping around like bright colored suit. Man, that caught my attention real quick, and it didn't make sense to my parents. They looked at me and said, "How can you not watch this? Like how?" And then they saw the
um,
big Dino Megazord Power Blast, and he was like, "Oh, well, that's right." It's showing you all these bright colors and this fighting. So it could be as random and it's crazy, like, and it's and the formula succeeded. We had 30 years of Power Rangers
yep.
and almost like 50 years of Sentai. Not even and
And
more like 50 years of Kamen Rider.
if you watch if you rewatch it again and you watch the anniversary episode again with the lens of it being not an hour long, 25 minutes long, like a regular episode, you're going to see that it's the same basically formula, but now dragged out a little bit longer. To where like Zach even jokes around about it. He's like, we've saved the world before. Like this is nothing new to no matter how new you draw it up, it's like characters that we've made, whether you bring them on big screen or, I think what I'm trying to say is in our franchise, we don't like recast. We,
Yeah,
um,
that's
Right.
true.
we have replacement. Like how many Spider-Mans do we know? How many Mr.
God.
Fantastics do we know? And it's not like they're giving powers like, some people in the Batman family and stuff, you grow up and you get their powers, etc. But it's like when someone gets replaced, there's a reason on camera why they kill the character off, whether it be real life reasons, budget contracts, maybe you didn't have enough money to pay all the. I don't know what it is, but they make it make sense into how, like the Peace Conference, way back in
Mm.
MMP, they make it make sense 30 years later, exactly as a Congress. Like that's what he did. He left being a Power Ranger, went to a Peace Conference, got his life together, and still did good, whether he was morphing or not. You know, so
That is a very
hey,
good point.
yeah. And I think you even see it with like and this I think was like kind of a direct jab a little bit to the Marvel world was Billy Cranston's character. He is the Iron Man of this episode. He has
He's just
Cranston
he's
hat.
like he's like a CEO of a company, and the fact that
Yep.
I personally think he personally built that new power chamber on that beach,
Yep.
which by Ray was dope. It was slick.
But
It was nice. It was like
this is the Ranger part about it though. When Iron Man built Stark Towers, everyone knew, okay, Tony Stark built that. He's Iron Man. That's what it is. Billy
yeah,
Cranston built the new command center and still had a secret chamber underneath and made his own alpha.
More
That
than one
alpha.
alpha.
Yep. And, so he has a little bit of an understanding, but what he doesn't know is how to get past the robotical nature of humanity. He doesn't know how to, like when Zordon said, Zordon understands when it's time to destroy and chaos. That's why he assembled a fighting team to go and fight bad guys. He told like Andros, you must do it now. And he's like, no, I don't want to flash the tube, which why we all thought Zordon was coming back is the crack in the tube. But it's like even Zordon knows the only way to fix this evil going on right now is I have to personally be destroyed. The Rangers still need to be there, but I can't be here because if I'm here on it's just gonna be bad guy after bad guy after bad guy after bad guy coming not for the people.
He's more or less a target and he knows it.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think how and them said, they really do miss a father figure, but Zordon is like, in terms of millions of years of being alive, how small or how important, maybe they did resonate with him and they are his most beloved team. Or Zordon was just like, you know what? There's another planet that's going through way worse than you guys. I'll leave you guys alpha. I'll go start a new Ranger team because we see Ranger teams exist alongside MMPR. Who
he
have
basically just said, "Fuck them kids."
And they have similar relations to Zordon.
Yeah.
They know him just as well. They're friends with Alpha. They've got stories already together, and it's like, oh, Zordon, we haven't seen you in 250 years. All of a sudden, he goes missing from, the MMPR team for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And gosh, is he ever coming back? And it's like, these guys seem to be perfectly fine being gone for 200 years. With 1,000 to Rita being in a space dumpster. So if you look at her being in a space dumpster for 10,000 years versus her being floating through space for 30 years, that 30 years was probably like 5 seconds to her. But to us, it was like, oh, peaceful times. And no, that was just like
there was a. You was gonna say something, David?
Oh, I was just basically gonna say, for those of for the viewers that are gonna be listening to this, and they don't really know, they don't really know Grimm, like, and I want to get into like what he's about, how did he come up with, the GG5, as well as, basically the ensemble of the GG5. So just for our viewers, because me and you, we know who he is, we know what he's about, but our viewers, they may not.
Well, I will tell the viewers listening that, anytime this man does a live, I'm me and David, we get notified right away. You watch it, regardless of what he says, what he's doing. He's very coherent. He's very not coherent. He's very he listens. He's not like most people when there's a live happens and you say hi, hello, how you doing? They'll ignore you. I mean, he gives everybody the attention and he talks to people while he's telling people about his day and what's going on in his schedule and conventions. And he's a very busy guy. And he's actually, I'm going to tell you right now, Graham, Goku 2004 is my cosplay idol. I follow him. I've been following him for a while. He's my cosplay idol. And I've seen a lot of things you do with you. I've told him personally, I want to meet him PMC. Besides you, I want to meet him personally. He's a great. He's a great guy.
I know he wouldn't mind me sharing this. This was literally moments before I had messaged you guys. I was on my way home. I love you, Andrew. If you're going to be watching this back, man, I appreciate everything that you do. And I messaged him this. I said, I always need you, bro. Just say you're on the way whenever. I got you always. If you can't go, I don't want to. Just like Aaron in the hallway. When I told you I want my friend in this picture, I can't let you just watch. I need you a part of the experience so I can tell people we made it this far. Never let our foot off the gas. Once a brother, always my brother. When I needed the Green Ranger, you were there. When I needed the White Ranger, you were there. When I needed the Gold Ranger, you were there. Not Tommy, not Jason, nor the triplets. You were there through the tears and the journey back to the command center in my heart. It's been nothing but growth since I met him. Andrew is my favorite cosplayer of all time. And I told him this beforehand, and he, like, this will answer your first question. People like him that really gave me the courage to make that leap from doing cards and mental awareness videos and stuff to telling that community, like, there's this big piece of my life that's missing that I let go because I thought I had to grow up. which was Power Rangers. And I remember telling my audience that day, guys, I'm recapturing what I love. I love this more than anything. And I know it may not seem like, because I keep it a secret, but then when I started to open up about it, and I just met him today, shouts out to CZ Drawings, who started my journey back into the Power Ranger community. That all started with an idea from Grimm Gang Support, GGS, which years later, 3.5 years later, turned into the GG5 in honor of Zeo Ranger 5 Red, Grimm Gang 5. Basically, the 5 is an S for support, and the colors I use, red, yellow, and green, are for Jason, Trini, and Tommy. And for, myself, GG5 is built off of the many times that, I didn't fall through with committing suicide. The times that I was saved, during actually trying to take my own life, not being scared of death, really wanting to here, and just telling myself, you know what, feel it now. I feel the grid coursing through me. I know it's real. It's not just on some TV show. And it's the connection I have with people like Andrew, like in the middle of LA Comic Con while we're watching a JDF memorial and we're crying across the room. And we lock eyes and we just do a little chest bump, point at each other saying, no matter what you go through, bro, I got you. Whether you're possessed by a green candle, whether you're in a white tiger resort, if you're not morphed, if you have a kid, if you're captured by Snizzard in a 30th year anniversary episode, or if you're just Andrew in real life. Like, you are the reason. Your guys' podcast, Zeonizer Podcast. Shouts out to the Multiverse Rangers podcast. Everyone now in the GG5. Shouts out to my buddy Chase, the Tyranno Turbo Ranger. These guys are the reason why I do what I do on a day-to-day basis. You guys saved me. So in return, all I can do is just share with you guys my day-to-day, that very perspective, what I talk about. My live streams aren't always going to be negative, and they're not always going to be positive. It's just going to be me telling you my thought and my experience. And if you ever need help, or you need some talking to, or if you need your distance, whatever it is, let me know, or let me figure it out naturally, and I'll reciprocate that back to you, and just it helps me out so much.
I'm going to say, I mean, that was before Dave was going to agree with us. That was who it really was. Both me and David are veterans. David's an Army veteran. I'm a Coast Guard veteran, and we personally had our demons with self-deletion, and we overcome them. And I've told David on many times. He's told me many times that even though we are from different branches, we're still brothers by blood, we're still brothers by heart.
Yep.
But whenever we watched the Once and Always special, it was great. It was awesome. But at the end, me, David, and J3D, we're not ashamed to say this, but we broke down. Just watching
Yep.
Amy Jo, aka Kimberly Hart, sing, and the fact that they panned to just their Frank, Tommy, and Tree Young, Tree Guy, and the very ending is what choked us up the most. And we are not promised any day of the week. We're not promised tomorrow or any minute. And make every moment in your life count.
And I say this
struggled
to a
through.
lot of people. Sorry, I'll let you continue, but I definitely
You're
say,
good. You're good.
um, I don't promise you my presence, but I promise you my love. Like,
Exactly.
I can't make time for everybody. I can't respond to everybody as quick as I want to. I wish I could just be there, morph and teleport, and be there to help you fight your demons. But like you guys said, we're all a part of different branches, different factions, and I want to, thank you guys for your guys' service. I'm from Guam, so that means a ton to me. And this, like, hearing you guys say that you guys are there and you guys have this camaraderie with each other, and you guys haven't actually met each other in physical person yet. This is something that I tell a lot of people. I told this to Andrew before I met him. I told this to CZ before I met him. I told this to my buddy Slayer before the GG5 was created, when I had my GPS. I met these complete strangers, first time meeting them, got an Airbnb with these guys, or, meeting up with Andrew just to meet up for a signing before ever meeting him. And finally getting to meet these guys, it's like, felt like, I've known them my entire life. And that's awesome to hear you guys say stuff like
And we mean it too. We don't just BS around and just when we started this podcast, David J3D, we came together and said we have so much extensive knowledge about Pyro Sentai, Common Rider, uh, everything the Sabana has done, and everything the Sentai has done for us. We have so much knowledge that we wanted to start a channel, start a podcast where we can just rant and have people listen, tune in, and it's so awesome. Um, Community has been so tight, it's been so close ever since, sadly, the passing of our hero and our idol, Mr. Frank. May he rest in peace, wherever he may be, may he rest in peace. Um, but we remain close, and it's actually quite funny, Grim. We all met on Facebook here in a role play community, which, by the way, we should not name the role play because it was hideous. Okay, so that's how we met. And from that day, we knew we were secretly brothers. And even though we've not met one another, we may have different favorite seasons we didn't like. We tell our listeners anytime we do a tier list, or anytime we do a podcast, or anytime we do a stream, we tell people our opinions are our own. You have your own, that's fine. At the end of the day, we are a community, we are a family. We may not agree, that's fine, because at the end of the day, we're still a family.
Yep. And I love that you guys, you met on a different platform, and now you guys are so, modernly a family that you guys are willing to follow each other on Instagram, Discord, and invite, like, even myself, even though you guys have watched me countless times, a complete stranger into your guys' comfort zone, and just, open up my eyes to, just how dedicated, whether you got 10 followers, 10,000, 10 million, it's like, I'll treat this opportunity the same way I would if I were going to talk to Joe Johnson. Like, this is just as touching to me, meeting my favorite Rangers. And when I say this to some people do think, I'm blowing smoke, up the wrong end. But when I tell them, it's like, no, for real. Like, I don't think Rangers exist on TV. I think they're here in real life. I mean, I don't expect Zords to come falling out of the sky. But when you hear people like, I'm in the Navy, I'm in the military, I'm in the Marines, I'm in the Air Force, and I'm like, wait, you mean the exact things that my favorite Power Ranger seasons are based off of? That's, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
in Wild Horse, Taylor Earhart, like these little instances where it's like they're a Marine, they're a firefighter, like Carter Grayson, you know what I mean? It's like these guys exist in real time, but what if you don't have that? Like myself, I'm not in the military. I tried to, but my arm was so broken. They told me, well, you can't pass the fitness test. Well, there's no, which caused a huge mental slope, going in a downward spiral where I was like, you mean I can't be savior in real life? And I turned on my Billy Cranston so fast where I was like, okay, maybe I'm not the most physical. Maybe I'm not the most, I can go through the ringer and become this most pure person in the world like JDF. Maybe I am about the mental fight. Maybe I am about teaching people like the younger Rangers coming up how he taught men, like, chaos and is rarely the best optimal strategy. You know what I mean? It's all about
Yeah.
pure and peace and
That's
together, that brotherhood.
But I'm going to tell you, now David's going to agree when I say this. Not everyone's meant for the service. Not everyone's meant for it. But that does
Yeah.
not mean you don't do your part. It does not mean anything because at the end of it all, when we come back, all we ask for is the people that we defended support us no matter what.
Mhm.
And
I want to give
that's it.
a huge shouts out to my buddy Mystery Collector. He also served as well. Shouts out to my Marines out there. When JDF passed, man, if you guys saw that live stream, big shouts out to anybody who saw me in that motel. Um, I have never seen darkness like that in my life. But I've never had a support group while I was going through that dark time the way that I did during that moment. I didn't know Mystery Collector, shouts out to him, man. I didn't know he was watching my live. This guy messages me, tells me, how he was really gravitated to my story and started sending me all this signed JDF stuff, because he felt like I needed it and that it would get
Mhm.
me through, these tough times. This guy ended up, and, in no means do I want to take this light from JDF or Jason Font, because these are the two names he used. But he messaged me one day after knowing him for a couple months, him helping me with some stuff. And he just messaged me out of the blue and said, like, you're my favorite Ranger. And I said, there's no way I'm your favorite Ranger above Jason Font and, Jason David Frank, like Tommy and Wes. There's no way. And he said, no, for real. You're my favorite Ranger. You don't fight monsters on TV. You fight monsters in real life. And a lot of the times you don't fight your own monsters. You fight other people's monsters for them. And I just started breaking down crying after reading that message. And all I can think of was how many people were doing that for me. How many people were, like asking me to come on a podcast. That's helping me, fight my nervousness and my stage fright that, is still lingering on, even though I think I don't have it, but it definitely shows up during times like this. I may not seem nervous, but definitely nervous. But it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, if they're willing to fight this demon for me, if they're willing to fight this monster, this Robo Rita, this Snizzard for me, then why not, show them what I can do as well, whether I can't morph or if I can morph, if I got my morph on, if I'm not ready, middle of the night, whatever. I want to show you guys that, like, yeah, this is more or less, just showing the lessons that we learned from Power Rangers. I'm not taking any of those for granted. So shout out to my Marines, you guys. Shouts out to my Air Force people. Every person in service and not in service. All my emergency paramedics people, firefighters, all you guys, like I said, even our scientists, our religious people, all those guys, every single branch, as if you would say, for the world, we all play in this service. So I
Okay.
awesome question.
David, before you ask your question, I'm gonna have to tell Grim this. I work at a pizzeria. You probably heard of it in since you live in California. It's called the Pizza Press.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually work the one here in Texas. I'm in Dallas County, so I work the one here in Dallas. Um, I have a 10-year-old girl. Now, her mom doesn't. She doesn't have an Instagram, but she uses her mom Instagram and she follows you. So she watches your live and she comes in. She's one of my regulars. And she knows I have this podcast. She listens to the podcast, so she's kind of like my fan. I listen, and it's awesome. She's a Ranger fan, but she likes the comics more than the show, and that's fine. That's okay. So do I.
Yeah.
She told me, I told her that me, David, and J3D, which she's not here currently, we're going to be on a podcast with you. And she was so excited. Her eyes were so big. Just tell her I said hi. And I said, I will. But question from her. She asked you that if Hasbro and Boom should come together and decide on to make an animated series based on a Boom comic, any Pirates Boom comic, what would it be?
Any Power Rangers Boom comic, I feel like it would have to be something like that captures the modern era and also the old school, for MMPR and pre-Sentai. I would really love them to do something with the Omega Rangers.
Oh,
With, it because you got that core MMPR team, brand new powers, and also a new Blue Ranger edition. So you kind of get that, Zeo feel where like Billy was left out, and here comes this new Blue Ranger, and who's the villain? Oh, it's Tommy again, and who's, what I mean? You get that, you get that nostalgia, but at the same time, you get something so brand new. It's like, and there was so much controversy. I don't really like to talk about this, but I do because it's that grim perspective. Like I said, it's never always positive, never always negative. But there was just a huge clashing between, Boom and, JDF, where it was like, it was getting there. We were getting to the point where we could have seen best collabs between, Hasbro, Boom, even just individual actors themselves. So I would love to see them go back, work things out and hopefully do something awesome, like I said, with the Omega Rangers.
No,
I'll
that
be
is a
sure
pretty
to.
good pick.
Yeah, I'll
And
be
by
sure
the way,
to. What, David?
I don't get this often, but it is super, super humbling and awesome that like someone gets excited to hear just anything that we have to say, not just myself, but you guys also. Where they're excited to, no matter how many followers we get. And I want to just give you guys this little piece of advice because I was where you guys were at a couple years ago. hold on to those followers. Like these guys are going to be there when you guys do hit that, drastic need to a couple hundred, few thousand and up. You're going to notice who your people are very, very early before the followers start rolling in. And huge shouts out to her. Thank you for that awesome question.
David, what about you, bro?
Let's see.
Oh boy. I like it when you say let's see, because I know you got a treasure trove with a surprise.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of comics, like, Jeremy, he knows I'm a big comic book, nerd, right?
Yeah.
So
You are.
yeah. With that being said, right? I I was thinking on it since I know that you officially have your own action figure now, that I've seen that you posted on your Instagram. If you can adapt your character other than Omega or the Shattered Grid, what Boom comic crossover would you establish your character with?
Probably the necessary evil ones, or maybe even something like maybe not even Boom Comics. I would really love to be a part of like the Power Rangers Shattered Past by like Crimson Vision and Nerdbot.
Mhm.
I really like this is something that actually helped me create and start my custom figures, even for myself. I started making my friends into Ranger figures before I ever thought about making myself into a Ranger. Um, I actually made shouts out to Mark Psycho Ranger Green at Power Morphicon, the last Power Morphicon. I made him these custom cards of his character, and then one day, about a year later, I decided to take that a step further and was like, you know what? I can't find a Psycho Ranger Green anywhere. They're all sold out, and he's one of my idols in this community, and it feels just so wrong not having him in my collection. I just, I invested in 3D printing, and I started look at different ways to create figures and heads and sculpts and started to learn painting. And I finally made my first real life friend and idol into a figure. And that just caused this whole wave of creativity where I wanted to make myself my best friend, people who have their own fandoms who haven't had their action figure brought to life, not even just Power Rangers, other things. And for those of you guys who don't know this out there, this actually led to one of the greatest action figure moments of my life. It sucks that it had to be, after JDF passing through this scope, but I actually have been credited by Jenna Frank herself as creating the first female Green Power Ranger action figure of her. Um,
Nice.
so that, like I said, and this is crying in the middle of the night, 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, tears running down my face, and just holding my Green Ranger helmet and just going, you know what? I can either sit here and cry and waste my time, or I can cry with my hands on the keyboard, messing with CAD, making a 3D print, and then finally, when this piece is created, I can tell her just how passionate I was while making this and how happy I was to finally see it done. So yeah, again, it's a shout out to you guys why I even got started in anything like this.
Go ahead and tell you, the Zeonizer team was going to make a surprise. And since me and David have you here, I figure it's best than anything to do this. Now, I've not met my fair share of Power Rangers. The only Ranger I've ever met was Johnny Young Box, and it's a funny story how I met him. That Dave will tell you how funny it is. But Johnny Young Box is the only Ranger I've met, and I tell you, he's a down to earth, humble, and kind of individual.
Yep.
But we were three of us when we go to PMC next year, and we're still in heavy planning. We haven't got our memberships yet, but we are working close to it. Uh, I have a good buddy of mine who does helmets, and he's creating a helmet for us that shows all five forms of Jason David Frank. It is basically the Green Ranger base. And it looks like a shatter in the middle of the visor, and all the shatter shows the colors and textures of every Ranger we've ever held. So we plan on, and this was originally my idea, we plan on going to PMC, having every single Ranger sign it, every single one. and
Wow.
donate it to PMC because I read an article. I don't know if it's true. Read an article. I forgot the president of PMC, but he personally reached out to Jason Stanford that he wanted to do this. Just there for the time. I was so excited. I think it was like 2008, 2009, and went fully on into it. And I've never been to PMC. First time to PMC, our first time at PMC.
Mhm.
And figured I gave this idea to David and J3D, and they absolutely loved it. That we get every Ranger to sign this helmet that got to work with Jason David Frank and future Rangers, future Rangers like the Cosmic Force Ranger team coming up this fall. Get them to
You
sign.
guys, you guys just made me happy because if I share with you guys, it's on my YouTube channel. I'll send you guys a link if you guys remind me. I actually, I was telling the story of this to the Toyzilla owner today while we were grabbing some dinner. That's how I got my start. Was finally getting over that hunch and that like I've had all this binder of cards and I made every single ranger in canonical history in order in 164 card set. Each
Wow.
individual, and my goal was, and I reached out to Scott, the president that you guys were talking about, Power Morphicon. I reached out to
Yep.
PMC and I told him, I said, hey, would it be cool if I don't want to step on anyone's toes, or I don't want to attract attention to me doing giveaways and stuff like that, but I would really love to take my hard work and my prototypes to this convention with some of these other things that I have, like this creative board that I wanted to do, like a questionnaire. If you answer all the questions right, you win this prize. And they were like, I love the drive. I love how happy you are. You're spreading the Power Ranger message during Power MorphCon. Absolutely. And I said, I don't want to seem like, I'm cutting in line or doing this, that, and the third. I just want to be in line. I just want to have this experience with people and have them choose between whatever card and Ranger is calling out to them. They can just pick that card, and that's how I ended up gaining traction in this entire community to start with. Um, and that's something how you guys had, where I knew PMC was coming up. I knew PMC was going to be over my birthday. I knew all these things, and I told myself, you know what? I'm going to celebrate this with my hard work and the happiness of these other people. I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for the experience, and I'm looking to basically share, like how I do with Andrew and all of you guys, same feeling that I had when I was 6 years old. That's that same exact feeling that I have now when I'm creating cards or custom figures. It's like I see you guys having that formation, coming to fruition for you guys, and it's like definitely do that, even if someone tells you not to. If you feel like that's the right thing to do, you guys to honor JDF, to honor yourselves, to honor PMC, to feel like you're never gonna know until you try. You know, and literally when I tell you guys, be there for one another and give it your best effort. If I were to tell you guys this, a lot of people don't believe me. It's weird when I tell them this, but my hard working at this toy store is all on accident. It was all on accidental purpose. I saw a guy that needed help during PMC. I went over. I asked him if he needed help. I worked the entire weekend. Instead of going and seeing all my favorite Rangers, this guy gave me a Power Ranger experience like you guys wouldn't even imagine. I met him in JDF on the same day. I'm still working with this guy today, and he is still blessing me with the best opportunities that I've ever been a part of. And that all started with just taking that chance at Power Morphicon and just saying, you know what, this community deserves to see my hard work. And not only that, I just want them to be happy as well. So huge shouts out to you guys for even having a dream like that. And I just want to tell you guys are more than halfway there. Now you guys just need to capitalize on it. And you
You
guys,
know, it
that is beautiful, man.
it's because you know before before I followed JDF, we followed JDF on Instagram for his passing. Uh, I read a lot of his poems, and the one thing he'd always say, and I tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter if you're a fan. It doesn't matter if you are a fan. Continue to tell yourself you can't do something. You send that signal to your brain. Your brain therefore sends that same signal to your body. You're not going to do anything. But You wake up in the morning and you tell yourself you're going to do that. You will. Send that positive message to your brain. Your brain sends so many reinforcements to your body. You are going crazy and you go complete your dreams, complete your goals, and you're going to go further than the sky's limit. And David, it's actually funny. David can attest to this. The morning of his passing, I'm trying to say this without losing my stuff. I had just, I was still asleep, and David and J3D, 5 seconds apart from one another. I kid you not. Send me a message. Tommy's gone. Just David Frank is dead.
Yep.
And this is not the first time we've had a hoax. I thought it was a hoax because if you all remember, like 9, 10 years ago, something around there, we had a hoax and he had passed away.
Yep.
And I thought this was the same thing. And after I saw it, I instantly woke up, sat at the edge of my bed, I scrolled, I said, I don't see nothing. And that one Twitter, Instagram from Walter Jones, rest in peace, my brother. I began to cry. So I've never cried this hard in my life, even at a family's funeral or friend's funeral. First time I've cried so hard in my life, so hard that I had to call in from work. It was so bad. He was the inspiration to everybody. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that I didn't do this, but before his death, I kind of did gatekeep a lot in the community, saying that, oh, you're not a Ranger fan if you diss Mighty Morphin or if you hate Tommy. And whenever he passed, my eyes kind of opened. And I've been the victim of a lot of that gatekeeping lately, and I didn't like the taste. So I told David this earlier, and he is downright, can't believe how this has happened. I was literally messaged a couple days ago, that I should self delete myself because I did not fully like or appreciate the 30 anniversary special because I had my
Yeah.
cons. I was honest, and me, David, and J3D were honest men. And I had my cons. I was expressing myself. And in the midst of that, I had a message on my Instagram, on my messenger, calling me a joke. I'm better off to go off myself.
Oh yeah, I've had those.
Just the fact that we lost our idol, and we lost our hero, we lost our ranger, pretty much ranger god, to the same way, in that people want to gatekeep, and people want to tell people you're not worthy of this community because you don't like.
I'll
I
send you
spent
a song of mine a little bit later. It has to tie into
I
what you're
spent
saying.
I spent 24 whole hours. I stayed up defending younger fans of Dino Fury, Dino Charge, and the Cosmic Fury. New fans, or the baby fans is what they call it, or newer fans, because they don't understand the universe, especially they don't understand the same time. And me and David have both said that it's fine if you don't understand it. We're here. We're helping you. If you want a recommendation of a season you may think you like, check out SPD. Or here, check this Force out. Oh, you know what? I think you would like Lost Galaxy or In Space. Give
Mhm.
recommendations to give them, more than just Dino Fear and Dino Charge. Expand their horizon, expand their knowledge. Um, Try Super Sentai. You will love Jetman, Changeman, Dino Man, for crying out loud. Um,
Yep.
but and coming to the defense of the younger fans, I've become a target myself. But at the end of it all, I'm doing something that I was taught by those idols and those heroes to always stand up for the weak, always use your powers for the strength.
So I look at it like this. I like when I was going through JDF's passing when he first passed. I remember I was beating myself up so bad, like physically actually headbutting walls, punching my face. I tied a rope up, thinking, I need to go see this guy. Because I wanted to send you a song, um, along with my YouTubes and stuff I'll send. But that was basically the way that I tried to kill myself more than 4 different times. And this was way before JDF had even thought about it. few years before that, not a few years, a few months before that, one of my best friends in the community, his dad had hung himself. So when this was all playing out, I remember I eat my words to this day. I remember coming home from that convention at Pasadena, and I go to this motel. I never stay at motels by myself, ever. And this one time I was like, okay, I'm going to stay at this motel by myself. I'm going to get a room. I'm going to relax. I'm going to work hard during this weekend. And I was working with Toyzilla, same toy company I'm with right now. And I remember going into that live stream, so much Power Ranger stuff. And I remember telling the EG5 audience, this is one of the best days ever. 5 minutes later, which is kind of funny, the person I'm messaging on my phone about, some JDF stuff, shouts out to the yellow in Space Ranger's son, Hammond from the Hammond series, Justin Hammond. Make sure to go check that on YouTube. He messaged me on my live stream that day and said, hey, did you hear? And I said, hear what? And he said, did you hear the news? And the way he was saying it, I was like, should I brace myself? Is this good or bad? And he said, bad, definitely bad. And I was like, okay, did someone hurt? Did someone die? Did someone pass away? Did someone commit suicide? Because that's what my channel is already about. So those are going to be those things that I'm guessing, So as soon as that, he was like, yeah, Jason David Frank, he passed away. He committed suicide. And then literally while I was on that live, I was headbutting the walls. I was breaking things in this motel, which ended up costing me a bunch down the road. It was just not in a good space, and I remember just reminding me, like staring in the mirror after my live stream, just staring in the mirror, said, oh yeah, this is the best day of your life. You're a joke. Like telling myself this, years of hard work, not being suicidal anymore, just came back, turning this page back in the book. And it's like, nope, you're more suicidal than ever. But what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? So I remember telling myself, I said, this is what you signed up for. And then the biggest opportunity possible, like I said, I hate that it had to have been him. But this is exactly why I've been prepping myself, not necessarily for me, because I would want the worst to happen to me versus somebody else. That's just who I am. That's why I put on the morpher every single day. Put me in front of harm's way, not the people who are raising their families and taking care of their job and doing, these things. Put me in front of harm's way. Put Grimm there.
Yes.
And when I tell people, they're like, oh, you don't have a medical background. You never served in the army. You never did this. What do you know? And I said, well, I had a mom addicted to meth, tried to commit suicide, and got saved twice. So it would have happened if someone didn't tug the rope down and break the towel hook off. I would definitely not be here. I tried slamming hard. Like, I've never been addicted to drugs, but I definitely tried swallowing over 30 pills. I definitely tried drinking myself to death. And this is with nobody around consciously wanting not to be here anymore. And this is after, miscarriages. This is after, my family telling me they hate me because I look a certain way. This is after me admitting that I love Power Rangers as an adult and getting rejected by almost every single person in my life that I thought was important. And then all of a sudden, I saw this shift like no other, where I was like, one day I just, you know what, I'm recapturing what I love. And I remember just all of that going away the night he passed away. And I had to remind myself in that instance with everybody, it's true, it's not true, it's true, it's not true. And even the next, hey, wait until you hear more news. It might not be true yet. Okay, well, how long do I have to wait? Because I've been through thousands of these experiences and I know he's gone.
Yeah.
It's not something up for speculation. It's like one of those things where it's like, I know Jason David Frank better than I know my own mom, my father, my best friends. It's like my, which is kind of crazy. Maybe today was something that meant to happen. I want to share with you guys, I did cry at the convention after, before coming to dinner and before coming on this podcast. Um, I was crying and I was melting down. Today is actually the anniversary, 422, of the day that my daughter passed away through miscarriage. I was supposed to have a daughter, and a year later, I was supposed to have a son. My daughter I was actually going to name her Trini. She was going to be my Yellow Ranger, and my son, when I thought I was going to have a son, he ended up being a miscarriage as well. I was going to name him Khalil Oliver, after Tommy Oliver. So it's been the past 10 years of me already, thinking about, Trini being gone, but still being here with me, and Oliver name being gone, but still being here with me. I've already graduated through these steps before these guys had a reunion, before they passed away, before anything like that. And it felt like a relearning experience, but not so much a kid's ride, but like this is the adult racetrack version. And you better buckle up because it's not just turning back page, it's going back to the very beginning and putting you in the most vulnerable position possible where you feel like a baby again in a grown man's body. And
Yeah.
I remember feeling so scared, so helpless, but who came to my rescue? The Marine with PTSD, the girl going through surgery. Shouts out to Shelly. I hope your surgery recovery is going well. My buddy G Hawk and him and his girlfriend, they got their own stuff. My buddy Andrew, he has his own battles. And these are the guys that it's not people who are perfectly sane that are getting me through it. It's people who are in the same boat as me. That we are keeping each other grounded and making sure, like, hey man, it's okay to be crazy. Just don't go too crazy. Don't go too insane. Don't go, it's okay to cry. It's okay to yell into the night because you miss somebody so much. You know, those things are okay, but what are you going to do about it when the sun comes up? Are you
Yeah.
going to show this sadness to a bunch of kids? Are you going to take your childhood passion and drench it with just one mishap? I'm not going to call his death a mishap or an accident or anything like that. That's just how I'm wording it, but he want us the same way. Shouts out to Tony. If you guys look on JBF's best friend, if you guys look on my story, him and his daughter changed mine and Andrew's life forever. And I told him in a message tonight, I said the little gestures went a long way with helping out with my coping and my grieving. You remind us that no matter what, the good people in your life and your family is all that you got. Bless you and your daughter for reminding us the golden lesson. We love you all. Like that, so I
Go
feel
ahead.
like that
Go ahead.
that's what I was going through. And I feel like I'm rambling on with this, and I'm so passionate about this one moment because it's literally even before he passed. This Jason David Frank has been ingrained in the 10-second granular chronological thoughts of mine that just happen every 10 seconds. Literally every 10 seconds, I'm thinking about Dragon Zord, it's morphin' time, or like here, take my shield, you take my sword. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think of these moments constantly of him, of what he would do in this situation if he were possessed by Rita or if he were possessed by his demons in real life. And, being a rapper and a poet myself and a freestyler, it's like I felt like I understood him more than 99% of the world. I don't want to feel like that. Like I want everybody to understand him the same way I do, but I just feel like in terms of his spiritual level, I feel like I've been longing for this moment in the worst way possible. Like I knew it was going to happen. Like it's this weird, like I said, grim nature. Why I didn't name myself Sunshine or Happy Go Lucky. I named myself Grim for a reason. I can almost see people walking down these paths before they even start walking down the path that they're on. And when everybody seems to be surprised by the disappearance, people think that I'm surprised by people not being here anymore. I'm surprised, and this is might shock you guys, but I'm more surprised at how much we try to keep people here that are not physically here anymore, and you feel them more than ever. Like I feel more of a connection to Jason David Frank and his family and his daughter and his nieces and nephews, his his wife. You know what I mean? I feel more of a connection now to him as a whole than I ever did just growing up watching him, perform on my favorite show ever. And man, thank you. I'm crying.
Yeah, it's fine. Crying is crying is an emotion. It does not make us less of a man. It does not make us anything. But we're all human at the end of the day, and it happens. It happens. It's like David and J3D. We all say there's no judgment on the Zeonizer podcast. We don't judge nobody.
I want to let you guys know
Anything.
though. Sorry, I just need to let you guys know this. You guys deserve this. You guys literally helped me tackle barrier that's been going on for 7.5 years now, since those miscarriages first
Wow.
took place. I told the third person today. I told the fourth person today, and you two the fifth people that I've told over this 7-year period of what the red, yellow, and green truly means in the GG5, and why I want to help people, and why I want to see people do good by their family, and even if they do lose the most important things in their life, it's like that is still in your heart, that's in your brain. You take that with you wherever you go, and you guys, yeah, would
You
be
know,
the people that I've ever told that to.
I want to say from a parent, I have two daughters, 9 and about to be 6 next month. Um,
Yeah,
I'm sorry for the loss. My ex-wife had 3 miscarriages before we had our first one. We had our second one.
yeah,
Which, by the way, they are power defenders as well. Me and Hunter
yeah,
Dino is actually they're both their favorite Ranger, and it's awesome. I'm always say this: it's awesome that we're breaking the news. We have a female Red Ranger coming up in the works, 100% badass. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
they watched the 30th anniversary. They watched the 30th anniversary, and they messaged me because I don't have, you know, um, they're not with me. I have to take child support. But they messaged me and they said, Daddy, who's this person? Who's this person? And it's not like I get annoyed. Oh, you don't understand. I get excited to tell them, oh, well, that right there, the Green Ranger, that is the legendary distant Frank. Oh, where's he at? Well, he's in the power chamber in the sky right now. It puts a smile on my face that kids today are we're basically passing the torch to the new generation. And we're not like most
Big
people will
time.
pass the torch. Yeah, most people, most fans will pass the torch. Before they put it in the new generation's hands, they'll snuff it out and hand it to you and they'll say, "Hey, you light it yourself." Instead of handing that torch, so you run with it, you enjoy it, and then you pass it to the next generation. That is what a true Ranger fan is supposed to do. We're supposed to be there for them. And I'm so sorry to hear about that. I know that, and I'm trying to fight that tear myself. And I told David and Jerry that J3D that whenever I have another kid that I made with them two guys, Godfather, and kids. And
Damn straight.
they're great men. They're great guys. We shoot a lot of shit together. We game together. We don't. Well, me and David, we're trying to get Jerry caught up in the game.
yep,
We create content together. Uh, Anything that happens in the Powers lore, whether it's something we find on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, if it's like for take example, like we are big fans of Power Rangers Unworthy. We're huge fans of those guys. And shout out to Unworthy, by the way. They made so much awesome material. The last one was Jesse, the psychopath. Um, but we talk about what goes on with them. And
yep.
the community is growing each and every second of each and every day, and it's a wondrous thing to behold. But one of my questions I want to ask you regarding the 30th anniversary is what was the best Easter egg in your opinion? Whether we had Fedor Protocol,
You
had
guys really want to know?
Preston Garvey Easter egg, Vulcan Skull, Juice Bar Easter egg. What was your all-time
I
favorite Easter
if you I wish I could have saved this, but as soon as the special got released, I watched it as soon as it aired. I probably like 10 minutes in, I posted it onto my story. Only a few minutes into this, and I'm already crying. And the best Easter egg for me, a lot of people would think it's that opening scene, but it was literally when they were going up to when Zach and Min were walking to the funeral, and I could hear it off in the distance. Man, I'm about to cry again right now. Um, I remember, uh, I remember hearing it off in the background, and you could hear them morphing, dragon sword, and then I just heard it,
egg?
Tyrannosaurus, and
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
in that tone of voice, I remember that's what captivated me into this whole thing. Why I based my character off Jason, why I based my character off the Red Ranger, and why I based my character off the Red Dragon. And I've carried that with me since I was 5 years old, and I remember like I was a little kid again, hearing Grin like in the leader voice, and I heard it, and I was like, that's not Rocky, that is Jason,
Mm-hmm.
that's him, and I remember just getting like, you know what I mean, like I started choking on my own saliva, I started crying, it was pouring down heavy from my face, I had to go on my hands and knees and like stop looking at the TV. I paused it. And I was just like, and I was really like hyperventilating just because like at Long Beach Collecticon last year, before JDF passed away, before any of this happened, before the anniversary, before a lot of this stuff, I walked up to Austin St. John, my hero, guy that got me into this whole fandom. I walked up to him and I thanked him for saving my life countless times. How many times I've grabbed my morpher and put the rope down, how many times I grabbed my morpher and called my mom and told her I loved her, how many times I grabbed my morpher, called my best friend, told him that I'm thinking of him through the grid and he's not even a Power Rangers fan, how I'm using this Tyrannosaurus power coin, and here's the beauty of all this. And my buddy Slayer and his best friend Julian, who wakes up every morning and texts me, GG5, I love you, may the power protect you, and that's it. That's every day, consistent for a year and a half. That's what he's been texting. My boy Slayer, we're ending Long Beach Collecticon. I just had this moment with Austin St. John as we're leaving, getting in the Uber. Random stranger, never met him in my life. This is before the GG5, this or any of that. He comes walking up to me and he says, I don't know why, but I feel like I need to give this to you. And he hands me this Red Ranger power coin. And I just felt like it was like a calling from the heavens. We were in the middle of the street. We weren't even in the convention anymore. He just walked up to me, handed it to me, and I remember just like, it really does exist. That
Mm-hmm.
the Easter egg for me was hearing
Wait.
Jason's
So sorry to
like,
cut you off, but sorry to cut you off. Whenever you said you were standing in the street and walked up and said, I don't know why. The fact that I watched so much of your videos, so much of your life, you give a lot to people. You meet somebody, you give it to them. You give this toy to them. You give this card to them. You give this bag to them. You give whatever you have, you give it to them. Seems like to me, and I'm no psychiatrist. If I was, damn, I'm good. But it seems like to me, you are moving, you are passing it forward. You're taking what that person did for you. So I want you to describe. You are pushing it forward. You are giving the same message you.
and I want to like touch on that a little bit more. It's just like I know what it's like to not have my childhood collection, being homeless, living under a bridge with my dog who's still alive now, 13 years old. This is when she was 2. I'm homeless under a bridge and thinking to myself, like, I'm selling everything, and what do I have left after selling everything? A luggage full of my childhood collection of my Power Ranger toys and my dog. Well, I'm not going to sell my dog, so I had to choke it up and sell the things that I love the most. And I told myself from that day forward, one day when you recapture this childhood collection, it's not going to be about you anymore. It's going to be about the next generation. You're going to be vicariously collecting for somebody who may not even be born yet, and I want to be able to pass this on, like I said, and I explained this a little bit today, not through a will, but just to give my love and happiness to somebody like this, what we found joy in during my time. And, times may change, but the lessons that we learn are still the same. If you care about something enough, you're either going to do two things. You're going to love it enough to let it go, or you're going to love it enough to recapture that love and keep it with you forever. And I said this to Andrew today. He said something that was awesome. He said, I'll never forget the journey that we did go through during Catherine and Nakia at that event. That was the day that we drew the line where we knew we were going to be. And this is what I said back to him. I said, absolutely. It showed us that no matter the ups and downs, we know who we are. It's not easy being us, but we make it look easy for everyone else. But if they can truly walk a mile in our shoes, I don't think they'd be able to vibe the way that we do. It's not every day that you meet people that are willing to go through the ringer with you. That's how you know you have family. That's how you know that the people that you're gifting things to. And today I walked in with four Dino Thunder faceplates for my morpher. I left with 2.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's just me seeing somebody. And I told people, I said, and I told myself this before the show. If anybody says anything about your Power Ranger shirt, about your toys, about your Morpher, about Power Rangers, anything, the anniversary, stop and you gift them something. I gifted people comics that I had brought, face plates that I had for my Morpher. I walked them to a booth and buy them something from there. You know what I mean? My buddy Chase, shouts out to G-Hawk. I was shopping for him this entire time, like telling him, oh, you can't go to this convention. Tell me what you want. Send me the money over. I'll show you if you like this, and that, and I'll bring you this experience. And you should have saw the smile on his face every time I called him. No, man, look at this. Check this out. It's totally you. And there were some things where I was like, maybe that's not for Chase. Maybe that's for me. And I bought myself, shout out to Toyzilla, I got myself a 40 Thunder Megazord. I bought myself a Blue Ranger Mighty Morphin helmet. And after this podcast, I'm actually going on my Instagram live to show everything I got from the show today. Just to really show people that it's not all about me. When I'm at these shows, I'm thinking about my boy Andrew, my boy Chase, my buddy Dubby, who's the reason why I'm even walking through these doors at conventions the way I am. And it's like, from here, all I have to do now is pay it forward, how you said. And I'm glad that you noticed, because it's not something that I want to be in debt with, and it's called karmic debt. I want to start paying that off slowly, whether if I'm in debt or just breaking even, whatever it is, that karmic debt that I have, I feel it can only be solved through gifting people what I'm very passionate about and what I love. And for a lot of people out there that are in my space, it just happens to be Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comics and action figures and custom drawings or whatever it is, and I just, shouts out to you guys, because without you guys, literally there's nothing to pay it forward. There's no one to pay it forward to. It would just be me leaving things abandoned instead of, somebody taking it under their wing and being like, you know what, Grimm had so much love for this and he let it go because I mentioned his t-shirt. He gave it, and it's not even his t-shirt, it's my buddy Mark's t-shirt, and they're like, hey, nice t-shirt, is that from the anniversary? No, thank you for noticing my t-shirt. Hold on one moment, I got something for you. Go into my bag, pull out a Green Ranger comic, and they're like, really? That's for me? And it even goes as far as the Ranger, Brennan Mejia. He had this incident at a different show where he charged me wrong on my card, and I was cool with it and he was cool with it, and to say sorry for it, I never made it a problem. I was like, oh, it's fine. He gifted me a figure signed for my card being charged over, and I was like, you're awesome, man. He remembered that instance today. He said, hey, I remember that instance, it's not your fault. I remember him treating me like a human being then and today, and all I did was I ripped open my backpack with no words said, because he had a line behind him, and no words. I just pulled out that Tommy Oliver comic, reached it out to him because I'm looking at another T-Rex Red Ranger in like, someone that got the torch passed to him, and I handed him that comic. I winked at him, I pointed at him, and I just walked away. And having that, whether you're a person, a ranger, 5 years old, 50 years old, this is what I love. And if you don't like Power Ranger love, then maybe my love isn't for you, or some parts of my love isn't for you. But it's all I know, and it's all I care about. In terms of what's inside me and what I was raised with, what my grandpa gave to me before he passed away. My Power Ranger journey started off with me kicking orange traffic cones, thinking they were villains. And then my grandpa's like, hey, there's this TV show I want you to watch. They're doing what you're doing outside. They're up to monsters. And I was like, monsters? That's scary. And he's like, no, they're not scary. You'll love this. And I remember, and it was already a few episodes in. I didn't watch it when it aired like everyone else. I remember watching it for the first time and hearing Jason say Tyrannosaurus, and I was instantly hooked on dinosaurs, instantly hooked on rock and roll music, instantly hooked on wanting a sword and kicking this traffic cone religiously every day after kindergarten till I got the moves down, till I can get the right, till I can get the you guys ready, bring till I can get everything down, and I would just practice and get like so that's where all of this comes from.
I no longer feel bad now because David and Jerry, what do you guys call me again? Because I'm the oldest one in the group. What do y'all call me again? I forgot.
We call you a lot of things, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific on that
Cool.
one.
And I think y'all call me Master Senpai or something like that.
Yeah, no,
I
you call yourself Master Senpai. We don't call you Master Senpai.
dang it. I was hoping you'd fall for that one.
Yeah,
No.
nice try.
Yeah, love you too. Okay, you got anything for Graham Dave?
Uh, I mean, it's just I'm still starstruck and shock and awe, man, because it's like I've I've been watching Grimm, since you
Yeah.
know not as long as you have, Jeremy, but the fact that when he gave us the first shout out to
Oh,
me,
no.
it was just amazing because it's like this is somebody that we know that we hold as inspiration for content creating when it comes to Power Rangers because there is not a lot of other than the actors themselves, there's not a lot of content creation going on around Power Rangers. Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
YouTube channels, but they mainly focus on like action figures, legacy collection, helmets, morphers, or the conventions themselves. It's not everything that's under the umbrella, and that's what we at the Zeonizer Podcast, that's what we try to strive to do is include everything that's under the umbrella, whether it be Comic Cons, comic books, action figures, TV shows, movies, Super Sentais. I mean, you name it, we're trying to touch up on. You know, like
And
Brandon Mejia.
knowledge is power, and the most powerful
Oh
thing
yeah,
in this world is love. So if you figure out how to turn your knowledge into love, you will be a force to be reckoned with, and in the best way possible, where people will be like, "Oh my gosh, the Zeonizer podcast is about to interview us. We got to look sharp. We got to get ready. These guys are going to ask us the hard hitting questions. These guys are going to be passionate. These guys are really going to ask the questions that make me feel a ranger and a human." And like I'm meant to be here. You know what I mean? And
Now,
yeah,
careful. Don't give us the big head because I'm telling you right now, three of us, we get pretty cocky sometimes. And so the three of us, we do talk a lot of noise some days and sometimes, but don't give us the big head. So I'm
Oh, that's
serious.
the I tell people this all the time when they tell me not to. Tell people good luck because that's just who I am. I would rather see, like I said, like I'd rather go watch D3 basketball if they're more passionate and have the drive, and I'd rather tell them you're going to be champions one day than somebody who has all the talent in the world playing for a D1 school, an undefeated team, and it's like, cool, you're going to be a champion. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's so cookie. Like I like giving people confidence and big ego. I talked about this today, with my perseverance to one of my good buddies that it's almost an ego that you have to have in order to conquer these goals. Because if you want to start anything, you got to picture the end. You got to know that, okay, if I'm going to devote all my time into this, what does the end look like? What does beyond the end look like? What does me after this is done look like? And that's why, I have these grim perspectives, like I said, the good, bad, the ugly, the beautiful. It's because if I never gave myself that confidence, told myself I make better cards than Pokemon, I make better story plots than Doom, I make better face molds than Hasbro. And what does that lead to? People messaging me, hey, can you 3D print my face because my Hasbro Pulse face is horrendous? Or hey, can you make me a morpher because the ones that I'm getting from this cosplayer or this cosplayer just is too heavy or it doesn't work out or you put more passion into it, whatever it is, and it ends up not you becoming, and this is why I say when other people say it, let them say it. If you have to say it to yourself, that's a little bit different because you're trying to work yourself up to get going. But if other people are telling you, hey man, like it would be like if you guys were telling me, hey Graham, you inspire me every single day, and I just told you, nope, don't say that. Don't even say that I inspire you. I could never inspire you. You know what I mean?
Well,
You know,
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop you right. I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm sorry I'm sorry to bother to interfere, but one of the videos, and you are inspiration. I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't be scared of yourself. Me, David, and Jerry next to us because he doesn't have an Instagram. We're working with him, but Jason Never Freight said this in one of his videos. He was uh, on the convention circuit before Revenge of the White Dragon was um, in its release form. I remember a video, and I know you've seen it, David's seen it. He was
Hmm.
outside of the convention. He looked a lot. He goes, if you're in line and someone says, "Oh, you're my hero," and he says, "Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm no one's hero." Don't stand in his line. Stand in
Yep.
someone's line that that 100% think I'm your hero. Thank you. It means a lot to me. I appreciate it. You want to be in that person's line.
Yep.
And for those of you listening, you know who I'm talking about. You know what video I'm talking about because
Yes, sir.
this man was a legend. This man was a uh, just not just a goofball behind the scenes, but he was 100% like this in real life. I say that with the same thing I tell you, Grim. You are an inspiration to me, David, to everybody who wants to create content with Power Rangers under their name. And we thank each and every day. We thank Andrew. We thank everyone who's worked close with you, my cosplay idol, as well as Unworthy. So many people who create content because they are passionate fans. They want to create. They want to be able to be that child that knocks over the traffic cones. They want to be that child who kid they're taking control of the megas, or they want to be a ranger. And that is true passion. Passion that can never be erased. Passion that can never be snuffed.
I remember realizing one day that, I truly do love this franchise when I would tell myself, like, this is all you can think about. This is all, and it's not like, when I would go through these manic depressed states, I would think about other stuff, but when it would come to wanting to get my life together, wanting to do right by other people, I would just think of the Power Rangers. It's like they make it so easy. Like, they get called into action, monsters everywhere,
Mhm.
and it's like no time for bad attitudes. It's just how are we gonna get through this together? And whether I'm alone in the Bandora Palace fighting Goldar with fog around me, not being able to morph, it's like, I'm still gonna fight like every single one of you. Count on me and depend on me, and that you guys are right there fighting this thing with me. Like that's where the inner strength comes from. And what I was telling my buddy Andrew today, shouts out to Goku, like without you guys, I wouldn't be able to tame the dragon inside my heart. And that's like the hardest one to tame of all. The one in your brain is like eventually that one you're either going to succumb to it or it's going to be into you, but your heart will betray you. Your heart will absolutely run you to the dirt like your worst enemy would, and that's just you doing that. And I
Mhm.
just told myself, like, you know what? I only get positive messages from Power Rangers. I've never had, unless it's, an actor getting hurt or something like that. But other than that, it's like there hasn't been really too much negativity, literally at all. I would say there's like 98% beautiful and like maybe 2% bad. And that's including JDF stuff. And it's like, I really think the beautiful stuff that has happened with me growing up in this franchise and, it's just been nothing but more or less positive. And it just I think every single positive force for it. And I think it's why we have it.
Right. Um, um, see, so it's one thing, but I wanted to ask. Um, when we started this podcast, like I said, we had so much built up and so much knowledge, so much energy that talking to each other on Messenger server or Discord, we wanted to be able to extend our knowledge and extend what we know about the Sentai Power Rangers, or my extensive knowledge of Kamen Rider. By the way, is another good one for people to check into. Um, and come PMC, I told you I'm one of the besides the Instagram podcast, I have my own Instagram page. I told you on the lives that I was going to go to PMC and I was working on my Common Rider Geeks. That was me. Um, and, normally my cosplay, I'm nervous. I'm nervous to be around people, nervous to be in a suit. And your buddy Andrew or Goku inspired me to be that person. So um, I want to ask this: if you ever decide to cosplay for anything, what would be the first cosplay that you would grab to be proud to show to the people you are a Power Ranger fan, you're a cosplayer?
I think it would have to be the character that I just released my graphic on, and basically Jason, the Red Ranger with Dragon Shield on. Because that just shows, trust between you and someone who was your rival at first turned your best friend. It's like, I trust you with the powers of me, and it's not just my powers, but my powers are meant to help you. Um,
Yeah.
and help other people. So look at that form all the time. And I've thought about this a lot, is because I had this debate whether my favorite Ranger was, the Gold Ranger, standard MMPR, or MMPR with the Dragon Shield. And I actually wear my own version of my Gold Ranger T-Rex. Basically, it's a Dino Thundermorpher mixed with Spinosaurus that I turned red with gold spines, so it's supposed to be a dragon. Um, so basically, yeah, I guess it would be the Red Ranger MMPR with Dragon Shield for that reason. Just because I'd be able to tell people, I wouldn't have these powers if it wasn't for, another Ranger feeling like, I'm deserving, or, you know, it would be an honor just to even have my friend be like, hey, borrow my powers for 2 seconds. And then you saw it reciprocated when, Tommy gives him the shield and then Jason gives him the sword and they make the plan. It's like, you are better with something that I use on a day-to-day basis, and I want you to use this because it's going to keep you safe because you have to do the hard part of this. Um, it's like, yeah, I would choose that.
Wow. Um, is there anything right now that's that's going on in future? For anyone, before I ask Grim this, we are now past once and always. Okay, we have
Uh,
two new things approaching this fall. We have Cosmic Fury. Okay, new Power Ranger season, Cosmic Fury. We to witness the first ever full series female Ranger. We're not talking about Samurai. Doesn't count. We're not talking about Samurai. Full series red female Ranger. And everything they did in the second one, every Power Ranger fan is looking forward to the most is Legend of the White Dragon. I hate to say it, we're looking forward more than that, Cosmic Fury. Um, and this is Jason David Frank's last movie. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time he's been on the silver screen since Power Rangers Turbo. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. His last legacy he's left us, his heart, soul, passion, blood, sweat, tears, everything he's pushed for, we get to see this November on his birthday. And it's going to be wonderful. Tears of joy, tears of sadness. I want to ask Graham, what's something we can expect from GG5 later this year?
Something that you can expect from the Grim Gang is basically, more custom projects. Really, really diving into the voice acting thing. I am working like crazy on trying to learn different pitches and vocal ranges for my voice acting. And a lot of it, like I said, is just paying real close attention to people like JDF, Johnny Youngbosh, people who are multifaceted in terms of art, dancing, stunting, which is all, going to be used hopefully once I start filming Path of the Lost Tyrant. And Path of the Lost Tyrant's already done being written. Now I'm doing final things like getting graphics created so people already have a hint of what my character looks like. Background story, who I am before Path of the Lost Tyrant, who I am after Path of the Lost Tyrant, with messages from other fan-made rangers, Black Inferno, or the Space Fusion Ranger, uh, Rivers, doing crossover voice acting work figures for MP Rangers, buddy Michael out in New York. Uh, So I think that's what's more to come from this year. It's just more of the same thing, but just better. I want to evolve. I want to grow, but I don't want to grow out of what I'm doing because I know that, what I'm doing and what I'm learning is what I want to do and what I want to. So it's like something that I've been waiting for a long time. I felt like a lot of people, even with rapping, with dancing, there's been so many things where people are like, oh, you could have got a scholarship for that. You could have been a really good rapper. You could have done this. You could have been, and I tell everybody, I'm like, those are hobbies of mine that I enjoy. I love them to death. But there's a difference between passion and my passion, something that even love can't touch. Like it's just something like I can be passionful with hate and passionful love. And it's like have both those feelings whenever I'm getting into this. There will be days where I'm voice acting and I'll have everything down and I get everything first try. And then there are days where I'm making 30-second snippet videos and it takes me 12 hours because I can't get pitch of it's morphin time or are you guys ready? Morphin act, like I can't get it down. And I'm like, how do these guys make it so easy? And then I remember the process. So that's basically what the time is. War process, Path of the Lost Tyrant definitely is my main focus for myself in revealing to the world more of John Oliver Scott, and just getting the GG5 to its premier place, whether it be an in-store location, toy store, whether that be like a YouTube studio or production studio like Bat in the Sun. Aaron Shankey is my creative idol, even before JDF passed away, since he was the Joker on Superpowered Beatdowns way long ago. When I saw those two collide, JDF and Aaron Shankey, when I saw those two start working together, do you want to talk about the happiest kid on the face of this planet? When I saw my favorite mashup creator who can take worlds that don't even make sense to be together and make them make sense, and my favorite off-screen Power Ranger of all time. Jason David Frank is my favorite real life Power Ranger. Like not being Tommy. Jason David Frank, I love him. Austin St. John, him is Jason. Jason is my favorite Power Ranger on screen. So those are the two dynamics. People are like, well, who love more? Is it Jason or is it Tommy? JDF real life, Jason Scott in the show. Like that's
understandable.
yeah, that's basically what you guys can see a lot more to come. It's just me being inspired by those two individuals and then, doing it for you guys and basically just, whatever you guys throw at me. If you guys want to see commissions, if you guys want to see art, if you guys want to see just something completely out of my realm, but still in the realm of Power Rangers, it's like, I'm willing to try these things and I get these recommendations all the time. I try it, see if it's for me, and then, that's why some weeks it's like, oh, he's doing voice acting, some weeks he's doing 3D printing, some weeks he's doing cards, sometimes it's video game streams. Like people are like, do you have a plan? I tell people I do because all of it is focused around building one character. And that's John Oliver Scott. And this guy is floating through the grid. Wherever the Zeonizer podcast team is in this multiverse of things, John Oliver has a way to go and reach you guys in real time.
That's awesome. I
And
mean,
that's the
I would from the Zeonizer. I speak for Zeonizer Podcast. We all do. Uh, if the choice ever, and I'm not going to doubt it. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna speak it into existence. If it ever becomes a toy that I can buy, you bet, you bet your bottom dollar that me, David, and J3D will be in line to buy that just to support you because your passion is our passion, and we live for this because it reminds us from being that inner child again. Um, with that said. We're running out of time, but I'm going to send this to you now, and I've already told J3D, I told David this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We are working on our own merch. Now, even though we are a small channel, we're preparing no matter where we are, what we're doing. We're constantly, you ask David, we're constantly thinking about what to put out. We're constantly trying to create more content. We are in the works of creating our own merchandise. So we have a shirt and I'll send you a picture of it then. But we have a shirt, and it is dope. It's so awesome. We're super excited. And tell PMC when we meet you for the first time and we go out and we have dinner for your birthday, we want to stow. I'm gonna try to be fancy. We're gonna try to bestow upon you and honor you with the first ever Zeonizer Podcast team shirt. And
yeah.
a lot of
Wow.
a lot, a lot. Trust me when I say this, a lot of passion went into this. Even though I have a good friend who's making this for us, he's a good shirt artist. Uh, a lot of a lot of creativity went into the shirt. We went through a lot. We went through a lot of shirts. We really did. And
Yeah.
this speaks volumes. It really does. It shows three of us in our own paths. It shows our ups and downs. It shows our drug and alcohol phase. It shows the fact that three of us struggle with self-deletion and self-suicide. It shows the fact that we've risen above the ashes to grow into the phoenix that we are in this community. And we want to be able to give you this shirt as a thank you of being in that light, being in that torch, and keep on pressing forward no matter the obstacles or no matter what presses before you. And you inspired us to keep giving, watching your videos of you giving stuff to people, your live videos of the giveaways of the GG5 coin, we three of us, J3D and David, wished one day we should have recognition, but we want to earn everything, every single thing that you do on Instagram, what you do at the conventions, what you do in your day to day life, and you have your head what you do. We thank you. You are inspiration for all of us, whether they know you or they don't know you. You are in this community, you are in this family, and we love you like a brother.
I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you guys. I just want to say this. I love you guys too. If there's one person you could say I love you to, it's me. I say I love you to everybody that I love. And I want you guys to know this. I'm really excited for you guys pushing the boundaries. Just feeling more comfortable. Asking people, hey, could you come on? So for any of you guys listening out there, definitely tune into the Zeonizer podcast. Check out what they got going on. This was an amazing experience. I love the questions they asked, and it was very, I thought this was just going to be my honest opinion about coming onto. I thought this was going to be more of like a freelance. We're going to talk about, but I was very surprised at how organized and how on track you guys kept this. And you guys have seen my live streams. I can ramble, go off tangents sometimes. But you guys really kept, about, what it is to me, what it is to you guys. You guys really made me feel like, someone's truly listening on the other end. So I want to give you guys a thank you and shouts out to the Zeonizer podcast and the team.
We
So with that
appreciate you, man.
said, yeah. But we always tell people at the end of our streams, end of our episodes, our tier lists, our gaming, whatever we may do. We always like to tell people, and this is our own little twist of the Zeonizer podcast. We always tell people, for any reason, we are on Spotify podcasts, we are on Facebook, Instagram. We're working on our Twitch stream, our Twitch channel. We're working on our TikTok channel. The Instagram page I run. So whenever I communicate with you, Grim, that was me you were talking to. So
Yep.
we are trying to be on every feasible platform for people to reach us, including YouTube. Um, but with that, we always tell people that listen to us, whether it's 10 followers, 10,000, whatever it is, always ask them if they truly want to be Xenizers, they know where to find us. So it would be a world to us if you could tell these people how to get Xenized.
I would absolutely tell people how they can return stronger than before. If you guys just let me know when you guys are having guests on, if you guys get a program scheduling going on, whatever it is, you guys let me know, and I'll definitely let people know how to, really feel connected to this CO team and this podcast team because, man, like I said, for someone who's just stuck in the MMA world, seeing Zeo, Turbo, and all these different things, like different groups getting inspired by, their favorite seasons. This is just like, it's fresh air. So I appreciate you guys. I'll definitely be telling a bunch of people. And right after this, probably minutes after this ends, I'll be going live on my Instagram and I'll be bringing up this amazing interview. I'm going to listen to this back because I know there are some gems that I want to send to some people, who are starting their own solo podcast, or who have a falling out during their podcast group, or they might have not heard from me in a while, and this is something I would rather share to them with our conversation versus me being shy telling them all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this was amazing. Like I said, guys, um, don't stop what you're doing until you definitely know you shouldn't continue anymore. And you guys still got a lot in the tank left, and this is amazing. Said so. Tune into my Instagram. You'll definitely get that shout out. Send me anything that you guys want me to repost when this drops and uploads. I got you guys. Even with future podcasts and anything like that, you guys just let me know.
Okay.
We really do. David, do you have anything else remaining in the tank?
Oh man, so I love the interview, man. You came with the passion and everything just clicked. I mean, hands down, one of the greatest dudes I know. It was an honor, having this interview with you. And as far as like the programming and everything like that, we try to unless some certain circumstances hit the fan, we try to record every Tuesday, and episodes are uploaded as fresh as every Wednesday. So this is gonna be recorded. I'll touch it up early in the morning, and then it'll be uploaded onto our YouTube channel, Zeonizer Podcast, on YouTube. That's our main channel, and it'll be uploaded tomorrow. So that way, all our viewers and your viewers as well, your community can be able to watch this interview and save it, download it, however they want. But it's usually every Tuesdays we record it, stream if we can, depending on what we're doing. But usually every Wednesdays, fresh new episodes are uploaded every week.
And also with that,
oh, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. Also with that, we are in 3 different time zones. David's in California, so he's West Coast time. I'm in the state
Are
of
you
Texas.
in Tokyo?
So what?
Are you in Southern California?
No,
Yeah,
David.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how
I live in
close.
Fullerton.
I can meet you next weekend. Guess
So
if you could guess what Southern California city I live in. It's pretty close to Fullerton. We'll give you something out of my Ranger collection. If you can guess it, off the try.
wow,
I'll give
bro.
you I'll give you a bigger. It is a coastal city. It is on the beach.
Close to Fullerton.
David, I swear, if you get this wrong, you're grounded, young man. You're grounded.
It's a coastal city close to Fullerton. There's 3 cities that come into play. Technically 4. That'll
Yes,
be a coastal city.
Guess, and if you get one right, I'll give you something here in the near future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Just
I got either Huntington Beach, Long
you're right.
Beach.
Yep. Nope. You're right the first time. You're right the first time. I'm not even kidding.
No.
Yes, sir.
That's funny.
Huntington Beach High School, Huntington Beach Pier.
So it's funny because I went to Long Beach High School. I went to Wilson High School in Long Beach, and I grew up in Long Beach after my parents moved from East LA. Huh?
I went and lived with the Cal State Long Beach volleyball team for almost 2.5 years. Some of my best friends in this entire world. I also lived in Long Beach as well during my early 20s.
Nice. Yeah, see, there you go.
That's awesome. There you go. And next convention, I'll get you something from the convention and I'll send it out to you. That's
funny. It's actually funny, Grim. Like I said, David's from California. I'm from Dallas, Texas. J3D's from Maryland. So we're from like different ends of yes. So we all have to go time zones. So David's 2 hours ahead of me. Jerry's an hour
behind you. 2 hours behind you.
Excuse me.
And then Jerry's 1 hour ahead of you.
That is super impressive, guys. Like, definitely keep that up. That is really impressive. I haven't heard a dynamic like that in a long time. I've heard about it before, but that's, like I said, it's not most of the common ones that you see, like actually, like you guys like seem to have it like you guys are getting it figured out, which is really cool. You know,
We are.
understand how your guys' differences in time zone. Like that's amazing. But yeah, shouts out to you guys. Thank you guys for having me on here. If there's anything else you guys would like to shout out for, the GG5 or anything like that, I'll make sure to catch it on the Instagram chats. And anytime you guys want to share with me anything, like I said, just feel free to share, send that over.
Okay, I
Without
would
a doubt,
like,
man.
without a doubt, for anybody who's listening, who's still listening, thank you for tuning in from the beginning all the way to the end. We appreciate it. And even those who couldn't finish it the next day, we still love you regardless. You guys go check out Grimm the Dragon Tamer. This man's got a lot of awesome content. And he's friends with some of the best people, including my cosplay idol, which I can't stop saying. I can't wait to meet that man. Um, follow the Zeonizer Podcast on our Instagram page, Zeonizer Podcast 3, all one word. I try to keep up with that as much as possible. David and J3D like to use that page to see what we can talk about for future podcasts. So small, but we're working our way up slowly but surely.
Oh yeah.
And Griff gave us the needed passion and gave us the encouragement of a lifetime for us to continue putting all these videos out. And I want to go ahead and say that we got the Zeonizer Podcast got a few things coming up, and we always like to remind our listeners about what's coming up next. Um, in June, me and David are doing a stream of Diablo 4 on Twitch. We're going to be doing that as long as we can. We got July, Exo Primal. We're going to do a stream of that. Uh,
Yep.
me and David like to do a few cheers here and there to keep everyone on their feet. And if for any reason you guys want us to do a tier list with Graham, let us know in the comments. Let us know, personal message us. Let us know what tier you want to see us do with Graham or anyone in the community, and we'll make it. So without being said, Graham, thank you. Bottom of my heart, man, we were nervous literally all week about this. We're
Oh
not
yeah.
joking
Big
about
time.
this. Um,
GG5 to you guys, man. You guys rock.
thank you. For everyone listening to this, whether you're on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you may be, we thank you guys. Thank you for being awesome. And always remember that the Ranger family, we got your back no matter where you are in the world. And if you guys want to be Zeonized, Graham can tell you, you know where to find us.
Sir. All right, guys. You guys have an amazing night. Definitely check out this amazing podcast team. I will see you guys on my live stream on my Instagram. Make sure to never miss my lives. We do have a saying here at the GG5: stay the live, stay alive. So if I see you guys in the comment section as a little eyeball pop up or anything like that, lets me know that you're out there still breathing. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for having me on. And I guess the only thing left to say, it's morphin' time.
Stay more phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right.